hospital, but is expected to be okay. Anyone with information should call Crime Stoppers. And a toddler is in the hospital after being severely burned in a bonfire accident in Murray County. Firefighters say that child fell into a fire pit and a sibling pulled the boy out. The 2-year-old was airlifted to Vanderbilt Children's Hospital. As temperatures drop and people build outdoor fires, firefighters like Richard Schatz want you to be safe.
Just watching children around them because they're, it's dark outside when most people are having them. So them falling over or tripping into the fire is always an issue.
Firefighters advise building a rock barrier wall around an outdoor fire to prevent kids from falling into those flames. It is also important to make sure kids wear tight-fitted clothing around those campfires.
A teenager is arrested for DUI after she reportedly sideswiped a Hopkinsville police cruiser. This comes to us from WHOP Radio. And according to a police report, 18-year-old Callie Turner was driving on Johnson Mill Road Friday night when she veered into the path of an officer and hit his mirror. She was arrested, and we're told they found a glass pipe containing meth on her at jail. No one was hurt. A warning from Kentucky police after a man impersonating a police officer tried to pull someone over. Trigg County posted a warning on Facebook. Early Saturday morning, a man driving a light-colored car with blue emergency lights pulled someone over near Canton and Linton Roads. When the driver asked to see his badge, the man walked away. Officers say to use caution and call 911 if you think things don't feel right when you're getting pulled over.
And get ready for some more slowdowns along the 440 loop. Construction on that new $152 million renovation project begins next month. Crews will relocate lighting, build noise walls, pave the shoulder, and work on ramps. Now, these lane closures for the roadwork will only happen at night from 9 p.m. until 5 in the morning to minimize the impact on you. If everything goes as planned, the project will be finished in August of 2020. Expect some major daytime closures, though, in the spring. And there is one project to be aware of starting today. This is a heads up for folks in Clarksville. Crews will start painting the Riverside Drive pedestrian bridge at College Street today, weather permitting, of course. Drivers should expect some slower traffic and rerouting in the area, and they say that work will last through next Friday, the 26th. Let's take a look at the roads right now. It is 7:36, and it looks like what was just an issue with the stalled vehicle, now we have in the same area a crash. This looks like they're worried about injuries because of the larger presence here. It looks like we also have an ambulance on scene. I-24 westbound coming in from the southeast side, so this is approaching the 440 loop. Folks are having to move over to the left to get around this. It's still 23 minutes in from Antioch, 36 from Smyrna. And we're 6 minutes under an hour coming in from Murfreesboro, so that at least is good news. I will keep my eye on that for you, though. The I-40 westbound crash near Stewart's Ferry Pike looks like we've got 2 of the 4 cars cleared out of the way. Still have that left shoulder blocked, though. And coming in from Mount Juliet, we are really starting to inch up there. 45 minutes or so on the interstate right now. Sumner County, heads up. Highway 109 shut down over the bridge. TDOT putting high water barriers there to block people from trying to cross in that area. I am hearing from folks around the Hendersonville area that they're having a really hard time on the roads right now. Sumner County always seems to get it pretty badly when we have the road weather index looking like this. Blue are the areas where we could see ponding and pooling. Green are the areas that are wet. So really everyone needs to be careful. But if you know you live near those low-lying areas, be extra cautious. Go around if you have to. Leave early to give yourself plenty of time. Still watching 24 eastbound crash right there before you get to Briley Parkway, slowing things down. Now let's head over to Leland.
All right, right now in Nashville, we are under a cloudy sky to begin our day. Cloud cover and rain, and some of that rain, as you just heard with Rebecca, producing some issues on roadways and with high water up along Highway 109 up in Sumner County. Let me first begin with our pollen report. The one good news with the rain, it's keeping the pollen count on the low side. So for the ride in to work this morning in the 60s out there with showers and rain. For the ride home later today, 56 with scattered showers over the Mid-South. Here's a check of what's happening for us now, and there's a look at the rainfall that we're seeing over our northern areas for us this morning. There's a look at some of the rainfall estimates over the last 1 hour, and just 1 hour rainfall rates there showing about an inch or so in a couple of these counties here. In Nashville, you've got places that have picked up about an inch of rain over the last 1 hour. Where you see the yellow there, that's about an inch, 1.2 inches. Up around Montgomery County, about a tenth of an inch there. Although I will say our Skynet camera in downtown has had about 1.75 inches over the Clarksville area this morning. Meanwhile, there's a check of our camera here in Nashville. Cloudy with the rain still coming out at a pretty good clip over parts of Nashville this morning. More weather coming up in a few minutes, but right now at about 7:39, let's head over to Adam.
4 people are dead after gunfire broke out at a toddler's birthday party. Police in Corpus Christi, Texas say 2 families got into an argument at a 1-year-old celebration and then things escalated. 4 men were killed. A 5th was taken to the hospital. Right now, officers are still trying to piece together exactly what happened. No arrests have been made.
Saudi Arabia is under intense pressure about the disappearance of Jamal Khashoggi. The Washington Post columnist was last seen nearly 2 weeks ago. Now there's an internal push for answers. John Lawrence has more.
Still no sign of Jamal Khashoggi. Turkish officials say the Saudi columnist was murdered by a Saudi group sometime after he entered the Saudi consulate on October 2nd. The Saudis deny any responsibility.
The Saudis are probably telling anyone that'll listen, we're not culpable. If you act against us, we'll take action, because they know there's such strength in numbers.
If in fact the Saudis lured him into that consulate, murdered him, cut up his body, and disposed of it, there was going to be a very strong congressional response.
President Trump, appearing on CBS's 60 Minutes, gave fair warning to Saudi Arabia.
We would be very upset and angry if that were the case. As of this moment, they deny it, and they deny it vehemently. Could it be them? Yes. We're going to get to the bottom of it, and there will be severe punishment.
Some want action taken against Saudi Arabia.
So I think one of the strong things that we could do is not only stop military sales, not only put sanctions on Saudi Arabia, but most importantly, get out of this terrible, terrible war in Yemen led by the Saudis.
There's also talk that Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin should boycott an upcoming investment conference in Saudi Arabia scheduled for later this month. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
And there's a new poll that gives Democrats an edge in the upcoming midterm elections. That poll from ABC News and the Washington Post says in House races, 53% of registered voters say they will vote Democrat, compared to 42% who say they'll vote Republican. And 54% say they'd like to see the Democrats control the next Congress. The poll surveyed nearly 1,000 registered voters across the country.
President Trump hit the campaign trail, this time talking to voters in Kentucky for a congressional candidate, Andy Barr. At the rally in Richmond, not far from Lexington, the president encouraged people to get out and vote. He says electing Barr could make the difference between success and failure.
These courageous Kentucky patriots did not shed their blood, sweat, and tears so that we could sit at home while others try to erase their legacy and destroy our proud American heritage.
Senators Mitch McConnell and Rand Paul spoke at that event. Barr is running against former Marine pilot Amy McGrath in the Commonwealth's 6th congressional district. With the opioid crisis keeping emergency crews in Middle Tennessee and Kentucky, they're busy. They're working to find quicker ways to get to overdose victims. For the past year, Rutherford County EMS has been using what's called power units. Their crews roaming in ambulances, and they're ready to respond during peak times. The deputy director of EMS says it has improved response times. Since the ambulances are already out on the road, it gets getting to those jobs faster.
They go out into the neighborhoods and they're high visibility on the streets. And so when a call for service comes in, they're the first ones that get the call.
So far, the Rutherford County EMS has 2 power units, and the deputy director of EMS says Metro and surrounding cities also have them.
It is a trendy way to help your dog lose weight, but is it doing more harm than good?
Kristen Scovere breaks down a new fad and why vets are sounding the alarm about this.
Join the conversation. Connect with News Channel 5 on Facebook.
All All right, dog owners, listen up. You're going to want to hear this story.
There's a trendy diet out there. It's for dogs, and it's worrying some veterinarians. News Channel 5's Kristen Scovera has that report for us.
If you love your dogs, there's nothing you wouldn't do for them.
People are just trying to do what's best for their animals. They love them. They're a part of their family.
Hey, come here, baby.
Sometimes even dog lovers with the best intentions can make faux pas.
They hear about people on grain-free diets, so they think the same should be good for their dog.
Kira Rodriguez is a Nashville cardiologist. Recently, she and her fellow vets started to see a concerning pattern with dogs eating a grain-free diet.
We've started seeing an increased incidence of dilated cardiomyopathy, and that's a heart disease of the heart muscle, and where the muscle becomes weakened and the heart can no longer pump appropriately.
If left untreated, a heart with cardiomyopathy can get dilated, leading to failure.
Or they can develop arrhythmias and die suddenly.
Typically, the disease is seen in large breeds like Dobermans and Great Danes. But the more Dr. Rodriguez looked back at her records, the more she noticed other unusual dog breeds showing signs.
And then all of a sudden cardiologists are just talking to each other as a small group, realizing that across the United States, here and there, everyone was seeing these odd cases, DCM in odd breeds, and they started noticing they were all eating similar foods, these grain-free kind of boutique brand of dog foods.
So how do you know if your dog is in danger?
Some of the symptoms they'll notice are coughing, increased breathing rate or effort, exercise intolerance, collapse episodes if they're having an arrhythmia. Good girl.
Dr. Rodriguez says if you're unsure of what to feed your furry friend, ask a vet for diet tips. Kristen Scovera, News Channel 5.